Tom Wingate, our faculty speaker. Tom is the head college counselor at Wingate School here in Mexico City. He has served in a variety of school leadership positions in Mexico, Great Britain, and the United States. On his CV, under the title Educational Ethos, Tom states, "I believe in being well prepared and working very hard, generating much of my own teaching material so that all of my students will succeed." This philosophy was undoubtedly the primary factor that led him to be chosen as the faculty speaker this evening by the graduating students. Tom really is committed to the success of all of his students. At this time, I present to you tonight's faculty speaker, Mr. Thomas Wingate.
Good evening. I'm going to see if I can do this with this tassel wobbling in my eye. Let's see if I can do that. You may have noticed that I walked out with several sheets of paper. That's quite scary, but don't worry. I've been given some instructions about the time for my speech. President Wiley, Dean, Dr. Luján, Señor Secretario, Armando López Cárdenas, my fellow Endicott professors, distinguished guests, our graduating students, and of course, as they say, last but not least, my wife, Señora María Elena Espinosa de los Reyes de Wingate. It really gives me great pleasure to have been selected by Endicott students as this important occasion's faculty speaker. More than that, I feel very honored. Thank you. The pleasure and honor put aside, I feel somewhat like my namesake, one-time Chancellor of King Henry VIII, namely Sir Thomas More. Having ascended the scaffold in the Tower of London, he was instructed to keep his remarks on the brief side, and so today it has proved with me. President Wiley, I also have to tell you that getting to this point, standing at this lectern, has caused me no little consternation. Would, for example, my 57 centimeters head measurement for the mortarboard still be correct after my recent and extensive haircut? And I have to say to you, I'm rather pleased I did it, because you would have thought that there was a kind of a coming back from the death experience. I look rather like Haile Selassie, so I'm glad I did that. Would leaving Herradura at a ridiculously early time in the Friday traffic still be enough to arrive at the Camino Real in good time? Happily, the answers have proved to be yes and yes. In my years in education, I have been the recipient of a few speeches such as this. To my shame, I can remember very little of what was directed at me. To be memorable, perhaps one has to copy the likes of Prime Minister Winston Churchill, yet another British Lord Chancellor, who invited to address a boys' school following his heroic efforts during World War II, stood up and told them, never, never give in. Never give in. And promptly sat down again. For myself, slightly less succinct, I would like to address these few words now to my hard-working students. My words enshrine two key ideas, and indeed I hope you will remember them rather from our classes. First, ours is a noble profession. Everything in a cultured, civilized society is predicated upon its success. Secondly, the true educational professional believes in and assiduously promotes collegiality, a well-tuned team where each member looks after the others is a great and effective thing. So, my dear students, value your craft and value each other. President Wiley, distinguished guests, may I close this brief address by assuring you that this cohort of students graduating today gives me much cause for hope. Alert, informed, and ready to work hard for their students, our beloved Mexico is and will be the beneficiary. living proof of that assertion ought to be approaching me right about now. For, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the whole Endicott College community, I now have the very distinct pleasure of handing over the lectern to Miss Alicia Whitmore, the master's student with the highest GPA. Muchas gracias.